What's up everybody, it's your girl TK and welcome back to my channel. This is my very first show, Teach Me Your Ways.
Allow me to reintroduce myself, my name is Ho, H to the O-V.
Now with my personal trainer Kayla.
Hello.
And we're just going to have a little discussion about fitness, personal training, and basically our own journey. I was a big girl in high school, and it's one of those things that like I've carried with me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
in life,
absolutely.
just
Yeah.
with like my confidence and stuff like that. I've always felt like a big girl. I really struggled just in like a gym environment because I felt like, oh, you have to be fit and that person to be at the gym, and I really felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb being in the gym.
As you feel like that, every female that comes through the gym feels like everyone's looking at them.
Yeah.
And they feel so unconfident, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How scared they feel.
Yeah.
But in reality, no one's looking at them.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know that now. I know that now. Tell me about your fitness journey. So like, were you a big girl or?
I was a big girl, so I was a big girl during my 20s. So once I turned 19, basically, I ate a lot of Indian food and I drank a lot of piss. As you do, you get lost in that way. What happened, I was about 26 years old, and I just decided, look, I can't run down to my letterbox without puffing.
Oh, true.
And I felt like a weird, strange thing happened. All right? One time in your life, someone's going to attack you. And I felt like, okay, I'm not going to be able to handle myself. So one, I couldn't run down to my letterbox without, puffing. I didn't feel like I could own, if someone was about to attack me. So I started my fitness journey. I went to an all-female gym because I also felt like everyone was looking at me and was super unconfident. So I lost 20 kilos. I was in group fitness classes, which I really enjoyed because I was at the back of the class, no one could see me, and I lost 20 kilos at the end of it. So my confidence slowly built up. So I signed up to PT school. Look, I'm really terrified of people. So when I jump on the stage and be the teacher, it absolutely terrified me.
So that's why you did it.
Yeah.
So you did it just to like overcome your fear of like
people. Yeah, and because I had no voice as well.
Well, that makes sense because you said like I had this fear that I was going to be attacked.
Yeah.
And that like totally makes sense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I never thought about crossing it over like that.
Yeah.
It terrified me, therefore I knew that it was the right path for me. And at the time, I was with my partner who just didn't think that it was a good idea.
Right.
So, well, I got rid of him.
Thank you, next bitch.
So that doesn't matter.
But yeah, after 10 years of being with someone and slowly getting cut down, and then it took me about a year and a half to do outdoor group fitness, to get in front of a class, fake it till you make it, but fake it till you believe it, right?
Yeah.
So transform yourself and transform how people respond to you. You're in control.
I get that because when I decided that I wanted to jump into this space, I had a look at myself in the mirror and I was wearing bike shorts and like a basketball singlet and netball shoes. But that's what I wore every single day, right?
Yeah.
And I remember looking at my sister who is in radio in New Zealand and I took one look at her and you could tell. Yeah. You do something. You're something to do with entertainment or something.
Yeah.
You're a something.
Yeah.
And
you're
then
holding that space, right?
Yeah. And then I looked at myself and I was like, okay, what story are you telling? Are you a lesbian? No disrespect to lesbians, but like that's what I look like. Do you know what I mean? Like I just looked like I was big. I was big as well. So like I'm wearing activewear. I'm big. So obviously I ain't active. Maybe I'm gay.
You never know.
Exactly. So then I started to really take ownership of what I put on every day so that I'm telling some story. I'm going to dress for the job that I'm going to have, not the one that I currently have.
Yes.
So the fake it till you make it thing.
Exactly. And you micromanage every day. It just goes day by day rather than week by week, month by month. Everyone sets these goals for a year, 5 years. It's just set a goal for the day.
Okay, so you know how you said that like you lost your weight? What was Like, because I know that a lot of people, they get on this like bandwagon to be like, yeah, I'm doing it. And like, I know for a fact that we'll be super motivated when we start. How did you manage to maintain that weight loss?
But for me, it was a mental health thing. Because like I said before, I was introverted. I was highly depressed as well. Like I just felt like I could not pull myself out of this black hole. And exercising was the hardest part of my day, and I always felt better afterwards, always. So that was how I stayed on my track. I felt better, and you just look better after a while too. Your confidence comes up, and your life is just better.
Touching on the mental health thing, for me, after I had baby, I got into a really, really dark space. And the only thing I got any enjoyment out of was food.
Yeah, exactly. Eating for pleasure.
Yeah, it was like the best part of my day was figuring out what we were going to have for dinner, and like the idea that I was going to not be able to have that. It was like, well then what am I supposed to have that's going to make me happy?
Yeah.
And so then what I would do is I'd be like, who cares? Like, what ifs? I'm just going to do this. And like, I like creating this little homely thing for my family, and like making these beautiful meals for them. And then I got to a point where like an event would come up.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, oh my God, now I've got to like try and wear something that looks good on everybody else but doesn't look good on me. And now I look like I've just stuffed myself in something.
I'm a big fat slob. I've got bigger titties than you do.
It's a type of look, right? It's like I eat for pleasure, but it doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
I look good, but I'm going to continue doing it. It's this constant cycle.
Well, it was like, I think instant pleasure versus long-term pleasure.
Yeah, that's
you know,
it.
the discipline, like I was really just going, well, instant pleasure is what I need right now because I don't feel good at all.
Yeah.
And if you take away that instant pleasure, then all I'm going to have is all the bad stuff. But as soon as you say no to those things, at first it's hard, just like a diet. And then later, it actually gets so much better for you.
Just take ownership of why you're in this position, why you feel that way.
Yeah.
You're really going to be accountable.
Yes.
You know, and stop being the victim.
Yes.
You know, there was a point where I was, I was struggling with my depression and all that sort of stuff. It was because I was the victim, and it was like, why me? Why this? Why that? Why don't I have friends? And why don't I just take accountability?
So what did you take accountability for? Just specifically.
My actions. So my actions, at the time I actually smoked a lot of marijuana.
Yeah, me too.
Right?
Yeah.
And I did that for about 10 years. And
me too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it just numbs you. It numbs you. And
yes, it does.
Yeah?
Yes, it does.
And you makes you eat and this and that. And like, even though you're a coolest person, really, you're just not giving your best to everything else, right?
Because like I would find that my emotions would be extremely heightened, and then I'd go and have a cone, and then I'd be like, oh bro, I don't care. Then that attitude transfers into the rest of your life, and shit gets hard.
Exactly.
Then you just like all of a sudden you're like, bro, I don't even care.
Yeah, man, exactly. Just have another bomb.
Everything becomes like that, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
exactly
Buzzy.
Right.
Okay. So you started to take ownership of those things,
exactly.
and then what? So you cut out the weed.
So I did cut out the weed. I started exercising every day, obviously. I started saying yes. You know that there's that movie?
Yes, man. Yes.
I live my life by it. Yeah. I just started saying yes to everything rather than not showing up.
I am the type of person who I love to like go out. It's like lockdown was like a whole thing for me.
See, I love lockdown.
Yeah. For me, I really struggled through lockdown, particularly with not having the gym. Yeah. I had an eating disorder because I was, as I said, I was a really big girl. Anyways, I lost a lot of weight, and I got to a point where a relationship broke down, and I thought that it was because I was not pretty enough. I'm like too fat, I'm like not pretty. It's like, yes, in my mind, I went instantly to the things that I could control, and the things that I could control was like my food and my exercising. And so I was like going out and I was exercising all of the time, and I was really restricting myself on my food, but I was looking at myself and hating the person that I was.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't changing the way that I felt about myself. And so then I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to speed this process up. And then I started throwing up. And then what was happening was like, I needed to feel happy. So I went back to eating. It didn't matter like how much I ate, it wasn't making me happy, so I would eat more and more and more
Yeah.
until I felt satisfied.
Yeah.
And then I would throw it all up again. And like that was something that just became such a habit.
Yeah, and normalized, right?
Yeah, totally. Very secretive. I was extremely secretive about it. None of my friends knew what I was doing because I was really grossed out by what I was doing. I remember during lockdown, there was nothing really to distract me. Yeah, it was just awful. Like, I was just left to myself and all the voices in my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I felt myself regressing back into that person that I was when I had the eating disorder. And thankfully, my partner was like really encouraging.
That just like says to me that you just don't think that you're worthy enough.
No.
Right? And that's your problem, right? Yeah. Is that something you still battle with?
Every day.
Yeah?
Every
But you
day.
are worthy. Why wouldn't you be worthy?
Yeah, and I think the other thing that I learned during the COVID lockdown was like, oh, okay, there's like some things here that need to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Because like the reason why you don't like being alone is because you like to be distracted from all of this stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I find that comes back down to, we were talking about marijuana before.
Yeah.
So an addiction.
Yeah.
You can have an addiction to a substance, and you can also be addicted to people, distractions,
Yes.
to food,
Yes.
whatever it is, because
Yes.
self-internalizing is a difficult thing to deal
Yeah.
with. Once you really look and focus on yourself, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question.
Yeah, I guess as soon as you get to that place where you're like, I'm uncomfortable, I can't do this, something's happening, like that's exactly when you need to like knuckle down and start dealing with it.
Exactly. If it's uncomfortable, now look at it.
But I'm such a runner. Like, I have always been such a runner. Like, when things happen, I'm like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah,
Like, I know that excuses come up in a person's life all the time.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you start talking about what you want to do, the excuses will come. Oh, I don't have time is everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
But like, you had to make it.
Yeah.
You gotta make time.
There's 168 hours in the week, you know, how do you not have 4 or 5 hours to exercise
Yeah.
a week?
Get up.
Yeah. Get up earlier.
Yeah, that's like...
Put your phone down, you know,
Yeah.
there's so many things. But really, in reality, there's that many hours in the week, so... And if you're gonna just don't make excuses, just say, okay, I'm being shit.
Yeah, yes, and just like show up,
Yeah.
like, and that's like for everything. But one of the things that I know, and like I can, obviously you're a walking testament to this, is that once you take ownership of your discipline, and I find that my body and exercising and what I put in it and all of those kinds of things is the first place that I can start.
Yeah.
It crosses over into the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And then you start to realize that you can achieve so much more than what you were putting out before.
Exactly.
If you feel like you're sitting here right now and you're like, oh man, that just like fully talked about me.
Yeah.
Minus the weed, or oh my god, that's totally me, including the weed. Then like, what's your advice to those people? Like, how do they start this journey? Obviously by taking ownership, but then like, what's the action that follows that?
Walking down the park or going to the gym, whatever it is, then you start to internalize, you start to feel better, and then, I don't know, things will start to get on track, then you can start reaching for bigger goals.
Yeah, you can start reaching for bigger goals, and you can also start to start reaching for those bigger issues and starting to deal with those bigger issues, because once you're putting the right things in your body and asking the right things of your body, then you're going to be able to deal with those things that you're like constantly running away from.
Exactly. And then start your journey, because it starts with just one step, and then you just...
Yeah.
You
And
just
it's
roll
helped me... it's helped me so much just in terms of understanding what's achievable.
Yeah.
Because when you first start the journey, there's so many things that seem unachievable. Unachievable, is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Difficult to achieve, difficult to grasp.
Yeah.
Out of your reach.
Like even just this YouTube thing for me, I know that I can do it.
Yeah.
I know that it can happen for me.
Exactly.
And I know that I don't want to work in retail for the rest of my life.
Hell no, yeah.
So I know that I had to give this absolutely everything. But going to the gym every day and just seeing what I can do, and I'm disciplined and I'm consistent, and like I'm like, I have to go because I owe this to myself, you know? That transfers into the rest of my life and makes me be able to see, even just have like the slightest hint of faith.
Exactly.
That this bigger dream can happen because the smaller one was achievable through you and just like...
And through yourself.
Yeah, through myself especially, but I think just because you are living your truth.
Yeah.
And it then enables you to do whatever it is that for the universe. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And, you know, living my truth, my whole point was to, one, project, but inspire that you can be anyone you want to be.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, we talked a little bit about mental health before. So many people are dealing with that, and they just need to be exposed to a type of personality that can show them a different way, a different path. You know, once you can see that, you start to trigger these new paths. You saw something in my class, and then you took some of that power back. You started to you put time into being physically strong. And when you're at the gym, you're not just putting a lot of like energy into being physically strong. It's mental strength as well. So once you got mental strength, you can use these tools and apply them to everything in your life.
Yes.
And so you've done your job at the gym. Now what next? All right. Now I'm going to go home and I'm going to tackle that washing. I'm going to take care of that. Then what's next? You know, because there's just so much more than just working out, doing your housework. There's so much work to be done in this world, and we all have the responsibility to be the best human beings that we can be.
I believe that we're like a vase, and God put something in every single one of us that made us special.
That's beautiful, man. Continue, please.
And so I believe that each person has a purpose. And like, it doesn't matter what that purpose is. You might be a really good babysitter.
Yeah, exactly.
You might be a really good PT. You might be a really good talker. You might be all of these different kinds of things, right? And you need to actually figure out first what it is. There's something in you. And I know that for me, there was like a stirring inside of me for such a long time, particularly when I would go to work every day or I would wake up knowing where I had to go. There was like a stirring inside of me where I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm wasting my time here.
Yeah.
What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Once I figured out what I was supposed to be doing, it became very scary. It was hard and everything like that. But there's nothing scarier than not doing it at all. I know that God has put us all on earth to inspire each other and to bring something out of each other. Even just like the last video that I made was months ago. And that was because I allowed somebody to come in and take away my confidence. And I went and had a PT session with Kayla, and Kayla was like, no, bro, we're not doing that. We're going to do this again.
No.
We're filming next week. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we need more of in this world. We need to take accountability for ourselves.
Encourage each other.
We need to encourage each other, and we need to live in our truth, and we need to be ourselves.
Yeah.
The more that we be ourselves unapologetically, just like Rihanna, we can actually allow people and give other people the permission to do the same thing.
Excellent.
And so I am definitely not going to stop doing something because it makes me uncomfortable or it makes me afraid. I definitely want to be able to metaphorically walk to a letterbox without puffing. I just really wanted to teach you our way. Thank you so much for living your truth, mate. Thank you so much for being brave.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking ownership of your life. If you didn't live your truth, you would still be where you were and somebody else would be sitting here right now telling me their story.
Exactly.
And so in order for you guys to live your truth, remember this. If you won't, someone else will.
And like I said before, you have the responsibility to be the best human being you can be. And you just have to, don't be afraid. You know, your fear is setting you back, and it's not about what everyone else thinks about you. It's about what you think about yourself. So take your power back, and stand up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. Now, Kayla, do you have an Instagram for your personal training?
Yeah, Fitness with Kayla Mac.
So start following Kayla for sure, guys. Like, I vouch for her personally. Just what she gives me in a class, just performance-based is amazing, but then also just in terms of like mentality and somebody keeping you accountable and things like that, like definitely hit up Kayla. Absolutely 1000% recommend. But don't take my spots, okay? But don't forget to subscribe and like this YouTube channel at TK King. This is my show, Teach Me Your Ways. Please follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much for your time. Love ya.
Bye.